Honorable nominee, you worked with the U.S. Army for 4 years. In what capacity did you work at the U.S. Army? In what capacity?
In the capacity as you just read.
What was your rank?
Enlisted.
Mr. Chairman, I asked this because as ranking member of this committee, it was only right for the honorable nominee to discuss this with us if he thinks that there are matters of national security and it cannot be made public. You discuss it with us before we sit here. But as I sit here, I have no information before me as if this is a matter of national security. So it's only right for me to ask those questions. Mr. Chairman, now I move on to policy. Honorable nominee, our poultry industry is struggling.
Certificate. For the avoidance of doubt, when you leave the military, you are either giving an honorable certificate or a dishonorable certificate. For the avoidance of that, I'm going to...
We are moved out of that.
Chairman,
we discussed something here. When we finish, we'll go with that, please.
The public is interested, and I want to assure you that immediately we're done, I'm going to produce my honorable discharge certificate, which will state everything that I did in the military.
Mr. Chairman, my question was not as to whether he had an honorable or dishonorable certificate. My question was straightforward. What is the rank? If you can't answer,
all that information is on that particular document. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So you can't say it publicly, but you can say in public that you will bring the document to us.
You have earned the right to be a leader, and you are entitled to certain classified information. On the issue,
Mr. Chairman, what is classified about a rank in the army? What is classified about it?
Just as you are misquoting even the branch of service that I was in. When you receive the documentation, you will now be able to know the branch.
I am not.
Memo bibiara kwa ba eba jumadi so send your first time or have subscribe to channel no na click the notification bell no so like video no na share ma afoforo ye na ya be kaya Bryan Acheampong ana Dr. Mahmoud Baumia and I think so other MPP executives ego PM kwa no odin sembi tuja nsem no ano hye nsem no na nsem ma ode tuja na say MPP they will do whatever they can to maintain power in 2024 and they won't hand over power to NDC government. And semi ode tuja are also a whole lot of trend and also a whole lot of reactions on social media. Now, then I have a Bryan Acheampong eko PM or vetting committee in Parliament. Now, at to force and Ebisana say, whatever one US military a juma for 4 solid years. Pen a document now on a juma bay and an hour US military mo. Now, rank a ben so and an hour crack. Say, who follow reaction now? Ultimo say Bryan Acheampong and the mama solid answer to the questions at to force and Ebisayano. Or my answer Sebia that wasn't responding to near Atofos and Epesa Hotel. Per what transpired between Atofos and Bryan Acheampong in the vetting committee, no, it is making me to believe this document I'm having over here. Now, Yansaka document be a document in a free US military. The document we no made already free Loud Silence TV on my Facebook page. Okoha, you get this document. Now, my unkind and some are documented. Document from US military shows Bryan Acheampong only served actively for 3 months. as fuel apprentice with an E3 rank. And some non-attending in the tier when you say, crack that way, I wish, just the current Agric minister, a friend of Bryan Acheampong, on the US military, a Juma, name or several actively for Abosome Miansa, and a friends no na or fuel apprentice, nana rank and so E3 rank. Now, according to sources, the E3 rank and the lowest rank in the US Air Force, and I said the US Army. Now, going forward, no, my person will be document when so and sema a dear recipient, thank you for contacting the National Personnel Record Center. We are providing the releasable military service information based on the restriction imposed by the military service, consistent with the Department of Defense regulation and the provision of the Freedom of Information Act and the Privacy Act of 1974. The releasable information requested, if present in the record, has been transcribed, photocopied, or a combination of both, in order to comply with your request. This record contains sensitive information which, if disclosed, will constitute a clearly unwarranted invasion of personal privacy to the veteran, the veteran's family, or third party mentioned in the record. We have redacted or withheld that information in accordance with the Personal Privacy Exemptions of Freedom of Information Act. If additional information is needed, the Privacy Act of 1997 requires a written consent, that is, a signature of the individuals to whom the record pertains. If the individual is deceased, we must have a written consent of the next of kin and proof of death. The next of kin is defined as unmarried widow or widower, son, daughter, father, mother, brother, or a sister. The following are accepted forms of proof of death: death certificate, newspaper article, coroner's report of death, funeral director's signed statement of death, verdict of coroner's jury. In addition, if death occurred outside the United States, any document similar to one of the following preceding 5 or a report of death signed by the United States Consul or other agent of the State Department. If you consider this an adverse response under the Freedom of Information Act and are not satisfied with our actions on this request, you may contact our Freedom of Information Act public liaison, Kevin Pratt, for assistance. If you are unable to resolve your Freedom of Information dispute through our Freedom of Information Act public liaison, the Office of the Government Information Service, the Federal Office, other mediation services to help resolve dispute between the FOIA requesters and federal agencies. The contact information for the OGIS is. If you have some questions or comments regarding this response, you may contact us on or by email or the address shown in the letterhead above. If you contact us, please reference the request number listed above. If you are a veteran or a deceased veteran, next of kin, please consider submitting your future request online by visiting the website. Sincerely. So this was a letter to Kevin Taylor when he requested for Bryan Acheampong the personal information. Per the information we read, Bryan Acheampong do not hold and I said never held any high position in the military rank at the United States of America. And also, as he claims that he has a high intelligence in the military, this article, and I said this letter has proven him wrong. And if it was really true, Emra Atofos and Ebisa no Parliament, Anka Obeka, the rank he held, and I said the position and I said the capacity he was working in. Now, Kevin Taylor, I'm a deep analysis into Bryan Acheampong, the details. Now, Miss Emreno, come home, Niankoti, and some Kevin Taylor Eka. Answer never gonna subscribe to channel, na click the notification bell also. Me like button also, na share my afro so NT Jumadi, Yenti, and some Kevin Taylor, Edia to job.
Now, after Bryan Acheampong's silly, stupid, treasonous statement, now Bawumia endorsed Inoku, Emma Kohine Onkasa, meaning Kohine so endorsed. A lot of people spoke. In fact, we got people bringing things out and questioning Bryan Acheampong, the credibility, and also Bryan Acheampong, who is an ex-military and as a veteran in the U.S. Army. Bryan Acheampong, he's been walking around the world and working in Ghana and touting himself as somebody who worked with the United States Army. He's a veteran. He actually went to war. He was an active military man. He has all the intelligence from the U.S. Army. He was given some of the highest rank in the U.S. Army. Now, the question here is, do you think that anyone who has been trained by the United States government, has been given the highest training, has served and stood before enemy, stood on enemy lines, has sought enemy, has gone before another military to fight to defend America? Do you think anyone that walk through that process will ever sit or stand on any platform to say, we will hold on to power, we will kill to hold on to power, we don't care? Do you think any military person, any veteran from the United States Army would do that? No. Obia wenya entity, obia wetume kutatuo akọ war ejinemu America. Abotuo esevu America. Onim the importance of life. Onim why call to duty is important. Onim the reason why you need to protect people. You are not supposed to turn against the people with the experience you have gained from the military. Obia or you well trained, obia or experience, obia what's na military moi. Ya 13 year onim military will never even mount his own bedroom platform and make such a statement. Now the question here is, Bryan Acheampong, what was his role in the United States Army? Bryan Acheampong called U.S. Army. Bryan Acheampong, our intelligence background, or nankasa kaya, or say, or intelligence, or highly experienced when it comes to anti-terrorism, when it comes to army, when it comes to killing, when it comes to somebody being a veteran, somebody being an active U.S. military personnel. He talked about practical training and then theory. Now the question is, Obiebusa, Bryan Acheampong, a different role and play with U.S. Army and the men say Bryan Acheampong has become the head of the national security, and also now he is the minister of Agậinst. Osiebusa. Now, my team, majority of the time, we have somebody who is in charge of news, monitoring news. Bryan Acheampong echo a veteran or parliament. That question came up, and that question was about the U.S. Army or joining Army a dear rank, a dear experience, new role there. That question came up. Now we call this person in our team the video scientist. Now we have somebody in our team, Loud Silence Media. We have one person called video scientist. What he does is he watches a lot of news, interviews, or check body language, or check how coherent the person is, or check if the person is lying or not lying, or check ni panasam no kano ni njina so ni basis until cancer asem no and sana wa refer that video to the team to say, I have seen something here, I think we need to dig it. So when Bryan Acheampong was being vetted, our video scientist was watching, and in fact he watched all the nominees, but there was a part that caught his attention. He cut it, he studied it for a very long time, and then he brought it on the editorial platform and said, team, we need to look into this. Bryan Acheampong was questioned about his role in the United States government. Bryan Acheampong used the same CV to become the national security boss in Ghana. Bryan Acheampong has been going around and flexing his muscle and telling everybody he worked in the U.S. Army. He was an active military man. He went to Iraq. He went to fight war. He is somebody who, at the end of the day, has all the intelligence to lead Ghana security. So the MPP held on to that. They made Ghanaians believe that Bryan Acheampong is the creme de la creme when it comes to intelligence, anti-security, anti-terrorism, and all that. Now, after Bryan Acheampong made that statement, we saw this particular picture. And that picture, no, it was Bryan Acheampong and Onya Brofubi. And that picture, they said, Bryan Acheampong, or call US military, no, Abodini or boy. I don't know where it came from, but it came from the MPP. And this is what they were using to defend Bryan Acheampong. Said, oh yeah, high profile US military veteran. And that these are some of the things. And there's one thing that came with these pictures. And this is what came with these pictures. The United States Air Force certifies that AB Acheampong Bryan FG4875 has successfully completed the basic military. In fact, for some reason, let me read everything because for some reason I'm going to read I'm going to read this. Fact checking now I'm going to take my time and read whatever is on this document. Let me give it a little bit of space. What happened in this time? Sir, picture and it came with this certificate. And what is written on the certificate in the United States Air Force certifies that AB Acheampong Bryan FG4875 has successfully completed the basic military training course. The basic military training course, LMA BM 900000/6 weeks. 10th of August 2005. Self-aid and body care. These are the basic training that he actually had in the US military. Basic. Self-aid and body care. Wako war. Nebia adetwa kokroboti. Obetube ya sawa na teach fast. No wasasho boot. No mame atwaso. When basic training. Law of armed conflict. Yabechiromo. Basic law of armed conflict. Anti-terrorism / force protection level 1 training. Anti-terrorism / force protection level 1 training. Oma certificate I'm about to abontin say we na Exp0ṣeṣ Bryan Acheampong. It was say ye GND on na call US Army or ye veteran and no high rank. Enyam na provide a NPP for. Sami Jemfi eko hu ye and ono so the chire almost said these are the facts you people are proving. Now he goes on to say this, and code of conduct briefing, August 11th, 2005, nuclear, biological, chemical, and conventional defense training, NBCCDT, initial certification, 11th of August 2005, sexual assault prevention and reporting, and is herewith awarded this certificate of training. So this is a 6-week training in the US Army. Now, where unim they are making kind of na MPP for Bryan Acheampong acquire training go US Army or US Army no. This is what he got. This is the 6-week training now. A man here something highly intelligent. Now this certificate you are seeing, Nidina Angasa Day. This is how they call it, DD Form 214. Or call the United States Army. This certificate, this training, it is called DD Form 214. Now, what is DD Form 214? Is it an extraordinary certificate? Is it a certificate? So obi for US Army Munas or a veteran? It makes the person a high-ranking veteran or a US Army military officer. This certificate is nothing extraordinary. In fact, almost all military personnel Army Muno, you take this training. Basically 6 weeks, 3 months. Now, let's try and find out what this certificate, what it means. Then we will come to the substance of the matter. We are still talking about Bryan Acheampong. Now, DD Form 214. This is DD Form 214. Now, when you go to the National Archives, and people can go there and do their own research. When we show a document here, we will tell you where to find it. Go into the National Archives. You will see what is DD Form 214. Discharge papers and separation documents. Now, what is discharge papers and separation documents? DD Form 214. Now, let's read this document. A report of separation is generally issued when a service member performs active duty or at least 90 consecutive days of active duty training. The report of separation contains information normally needed to verify military service for benefits, retirement, unemployment, and membership in veterans organization. Information shows on the report of separation may include the service members. So when you saw this, these were the service members that took the same training. And that training that he took and was given this certification is called DD 214 form. And basically, when you take this training, now free military man, it helps you as a veteran, so ope loan, or you're unemployed, ope baby atna, ope veteran for association me ajuatum, so now can take it trader. This is why majority of the time, new and as a military man on before you need to take this course. So this course is a basic course. It is our low one down so about SS. Yes, also obia the elective subject, but you'll be for the core subject. Core subjects are basic. Everybody takes core subjects. So 90% of the people who join the US military, they take the DD Form 214 a year training. It is basic. It does not make anybody who take this training, which is a max of 90 days, and not 3 months, and that's 6 weeks. In this one, Bryan Acheampong's training was for 6 weeks. It wasn't even for 3 months. It was for 6 weeks. Now watching Insia. Now, let's do something here. I'll be right back for us to continue. Right back. It's very important I do this.
Illegal mining. Who has the power to stop it? Over 500 mason excavators.
I am prepared to put my presidency on the line on this matter.
But is the president behind the illegal mining? Is the whole Jubilee House involved? And was the president told about his appointees being involved in illegal mining? And did he take action? The documents will tell us. The Jubilee House Galamsey gangs coming up on 6 April 2023 on week.
All right, welcome back. One of my sources at Ku or catch them say Ku man hineno. Ne car na otwi sisi na Bryan Acheampong the tomano. So he dare not speak. You see where we are today. And anything Bryan Acheampong to ko jina Ku. No account we also say obe say Ghana obeku nipa je power Ku man hinin to minkasa. So hinene so a bema bibida nantem to semia. He should speak and rebuke Bryan Acheampong. If it's a car now, Ochi Kura or Bryan Acheampong, call him no car now, Ochi no Bryan Acheampong the Tomano, but that will be another topic for another day. Into this training, 6 weeks now, Bryan Acheampong, yeah, it's nothing extraordinary. Now, more about this, I like to educate because it's important. Say you be one sama kano injina sono ansana yakoenim. Now, you see, who qualifies for a DD214? When you ask, Google will tell you. Members' military personnel sections will generate these forms upon their return from training. Members are eligible to receive a DD Form 214 based on consecutive active duty period of 90 days or more. So basic personnel who go into the military, they will be given this certificate after basic training. It is not any extraordinary document. It is our picture now, certificate in the Bryan Acheampong bro. From the picture say, or a high-ranking military person, MPP for bois. That's what I was saying. Say, when you hand over intelligence to somebody who is foolish, he uses that intelligence against the same people. And anything I was so West, you gave him that power, he made sure, say, because his intelligence level no from so he uses force. But because NPP a party, everything about it is fake. President require a fake or this certificate. Until they held Bryan Acheampong, they lifted this guy to some level. They made everybody believe that Bryan Acheampong is the creme de la creme when it comes to military, when it comes to intelligence, when it comes to anti-terrorism. Bryan Acheampong took 6 weeks basic. Everything I'm saying on this platform, he has the right to respond. He has the right to go to court. And we are willing to come to court. Into Bryan Acheampong, we want him to come out and tell us, all that I am saying here today with the facts, is a lie, and he did something different from what I am saying. Now, still on DD214 form, is a DD214 an honorable discharge? Is it an honorable discharge? Yeah, the certificate we mount and the form we mount. Does it make it an honorable discharge? Now read. Most individuals and employers want to see an honorable discharge indicated in line 24's character of service in the DD214. This type of discharge also is key to being eligible for a host of veterans benefits provided by federal, state, and sometimes even local government. Into DD214, DD Form 214, the yema una na said the boy says ukop aminim now take this basic course now. The only chance I want as a benefit that Brown say so free aminimwa. They call something some benefit. You'll be eligible to some benefit as a veteran. Why homeless? Because you took this course, you could get some benefits. One state out, state national and creative maybe amount, state to benefit me into this course, it does not make anybody a unique military officer. It is one of the most basic military courses anyone can take. So Bryan Acheampong say or take some course be bigger than what we are saying now. He has the right to respond to this because you see, what we are talking about is not a joke. Bryan Acheampong sold to us what he does not know. Bryan Acheampong consistently has lied to Ghanaians to believe, say, or some high-ranking, intelligent military officer, some veteran, they will name in military, in security, we don't know. And that is also against the law. Because you cannot tell us you know something that you don't know. You cannot tell us you went to a war you never went. You cannot make us feel, say, your position in the U.S. Army then, it was so sensitive to the point whereby nobody can ask you about it. Let me tell you, the general in the United States Army, if you want information about him, as a journalist like myself, you can get it. Now, let's go to Bryan Acheampong. When Bryan Acheampong went to the vetting, something caught the eye of our video scientist. And it was how he answered the question of a year time and or US Army. It is public knowledge. Anyone or America can go on the system and ask for information from Kevin. Tell us or a veteran. No US Army a DNA or ye. What the US Army does, and they say they can give you the basic information. Say ebia nipano in the army you're discharging honorably or they conceal that for federal issues. But if you want to know, say asimesi no you must say no they will give it to you because the law forces them to do that. Now let's go back and watch Bryan Acheampong's vetting when he was questioned about the role in the United States Army and what he said. After that, we will do something here.
Honorable nominee, you worked with the U.S. Army for 4 years. In what capacity did you work at the U.S. Army? In what capacity?
In the capacity as you just read.
What was your rank?
Enlisted.
Mr. Chairman, I ask this because as ranking member of this committee, it was only right for the honorable nominee to discuss this with us if he thinks that there are matters of national security and it cannot be made public. You discuss it with us before we sit here. But as I sit here, I have no information before me as if this is a matter of national security. So it's only right for me to ask those questions. Mr. Chairman, now I move on to policy. Honorable nominee, our poultry industry is struggling.
Certificate. For the avoidance of doubt, when you leave the military, you are either giving an honorable certificate or a dishonorable certificate. For the avoidance of that, I'm going to...
We are moved out of that.
Chairman,
we discussed something here. When we finish, we'll go with that, please.
The public is interested, and I want to assure you that immediately we're done, I'm going to produce my honorable discharge certificate, which will state everything that I did in the military.
Mr. Chairman, my question was not as to whether he had an honorable or dishonorable certificate. My question was straightforward. What is the rank? If you can't answer,
all that information is on that particular document. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So you can't say it publicly, but you can say in public that you will bring the document to us.
You have earned the right to be a leader, and you are entitled to certain classified information. On the issue,
Mr. Chairman, what is classified about a rank in the army? What is classified about it?
Just as you are misquoting even the branch of service that I was in. When you receive the documentation, you will now be able to know the,
Chairman,
the branch.
I am not.
No, let's slow down here. What Bryan Acheampong was talking about, the certificate he was talking about, maybe he provided to Parliament, is this certificate I just showed you. This certificate does not prove your rank, what you did, your role. Acheampong's question was emphatic. Your role, your rank. This certificate I've explained to you, it is called DD Form 214. It's basic certificate they give to you. Acheampong was questioning Bryan Acheampong on his rank and his role. Bryan Acheampong, if this is what he provided the Ghana Parliament, Bryan Acheampong did not give Ghana Parliament what they were demanding. Bryan Acheampong gave Parliament a DD Form 214, which is just a basic certificate. Acheampong was asking, tell us your rank, tell us your role. If this document I am showing you today, these two documents with Bryan Acheampong's picture and this certificate is what Bryan Acheampong provided Ghana Parliament, that it shows that he was honorably discharged from the military, the United States military, that this is a fake document. In fake in the sense that it does not prove, it does not justify, it is not able to tell us which rank and which role that Bryan Acheampong played in the United States Army. Let's listen to this. Well, after that, I'll move the conversation. Remember, this is part one. Now listen to Bryan Acheampong well.
Honorable nominee, you worked with the U.S. Army for 4 years. In what capacity did you work at the U.S. Army? In what capacity?
in the capacity as you just read.
What was your rank?
Enlisted.
Mr. Chairman, I ask this because as ranking member of this committee, it was only right for the honorable nominee to discuss this with us if he thinks that there are matters of national security and it cannot be made public. You discuss it with us before we sit here. But as I sit here, I have no information before me as if this is a matter of national security. So it's only right for me to ask those questions. Mr. Chairman, now I move on to policy.
When you leave the military, you are either giving honorable's certificate or a dishonorable certificate. For the avoidance of that, I'm going to...
We are moved out of that.
Chairman,
we discussed something here. When we finish, we'll go with that, please.
The public is interested, and I want to assure you that immediately we're done, I'm going to produce my honorable discharge certificate, which will state everything that I did in the military.
Mr. Chairman, my question was not as to whether he had an honorable or dishonorable certificate. My question was straightforward. What is the rank? If you can't answer,
all that information is on that particular document. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So you can't say it publicly, but you can say in public that you will bring the document to us.
You have earned the right to be a leader, and you are entitled to certain classified information. On the issue,
Mr. Chairman, what is classified about a rank? A rank in the army. What is classified about it?
Just as you are misquoting even the branch of service that I was in. When you receive the documentation, you will now be able to know the branch.
I am not comfortable with the way these questions is being answered. Mr. Chairman, I asked a simple question. I just wanted to know the rank. You asked me to wait so that he brings the information to us. But if he's going back to wait, then it's only right for him to tell us the rank in which he left the army with. It's only right. It's a simple question.
Mr. Chairman, when confirmed, I understand the challenges facing the poultry industry.
So, Bryan Acheampong could not tell Ghanaians his rank in the U.S. Army. I can call the U.S. General, Air Force, Navy, and ask them, you are a veteran, what was your rank? Is the first thing a veteran in America is proud to tell you. In fact, when you meet a veteran in the United States of America, they are the first statement when you meet them and you say, oh, God bless you for what you did for this country. The next time, whenever you drag the conversation, the first thing they tell you, this is my rank. I served here. They are proud. Bryan Acheampong got the golden opportunity. The whole world, we were watching Bryan Acheampong. Tell us your rank. Bryan Acheampong could not tell the world and Ghanaians his rank, but Bryan Acheampong was in charge of Ghana's security. Bryan Acheampong led thugs to kill Ghanaians. Bryan Acheampong today is standing on stage with Bawumia to tell Ghanaians that they will kill and hold on to power. This got us very interested. Loud Silence Media, my team, myself, my video scientists, our editorial board chairman, yes, we have an editorial board chairman, Mr. P, and the rest of the team, we decided to go deeper and find what Bryan Acheampong actually did in the U.S. military. Now, this is what we got. Now, this document was received on the 23rd of March 2023. Now, when you read this document, and I'm going to do that with you, and this document, Loud Silence Media, we access this document through the RTI in America, because the American system, whatever information you demand for, you get it. I'm going to take my time and read everything and then go to Bryan Acheampong. Today we will know his rank and what he did in the military. If you're watching me, that's what I'm saying. Every document I'm putting here, this document is from the National Personnel Records Center. And Bryan Acheampong can go there. Bryan Acheampong wants to go to court, he can. I did not make this up. We have not edited anything. We have just covered the address of Loud Silence Media. I personally sent the email. So I am reading this on this show. Now, this is what is in the document that we received. I want to read everything because it's important that we get to know everything from the bottom. Bryan Acheampong, this is the Bryan Acheampong. Now, Kevin Taylor, Loud Silence Media, 23rd of March 2023, asked me why I have held on to this, because I knew why Bryan Acheampong was going to the cabinet. I knew Bryan Acheampong was being forced into the cabinet to go do damage in 2024. So after we did this work, we kept it. We received this document on the 23rd of March 2023. And we have lots and lots of these things. We have them, but we wait at the right time to kill. Because that is how journalism is. You don't waste your bullets. You always take your time. You wait. Now let's go forward. Thank you, team. Now it says veteran's name, Acheampong Bryan. Request number 2-27814827015. Dear recipient, and that is me. Thank you for contacting the National Personnel Records Center. We are providing the releasable military service information based on restrictions imposed by the military services consistent with the Department of Defense regulations and the provisions of the Freedom of Information Act and the Privacy Act of 1974. The releasable information requested, if present in the record, has been transcribed, photocopied, or a combination of both in order to comply with your request. This record contains sensitive personal information which, if disclosed, would constitute a clearly unwarranted invasion of personal privacy to the veteran, the veteran's family, a third party mentioned in the record. We have redacted and or withheld that information in accordance with the personal privacy exemption of the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, that's how they call it, 5 USC, blah, 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 552, whatever. In addition, if additional information is needed, the Privacy Act of 1974 requires the written consent, that's the signature, of the individual to whom the record pertains. If the individual is deceased, we must have the written consent of the next of kin and proof of death. The next of kin is defined as unmarried widow or widower, son, daughter, father, mother, brother, or sister. The following are acceptable forms of proof of death. 1. Death certificate, newspaper article, coroner's report of death, funeral director's signed statement of death, verdict of coroner's jury. If death occurred outside the United States, any document similar to one of the preceding 5 or a report of death signed by a United States consul or other agent of the State Department. The document goes on to say this. If you consider this an adverse response under the FOIA and are not satisfied with our action on this request, you may contact our FOIA or the FOIA public liaisons Kevin Pratt for assistance at. So they have given Kevin Pratt a contact. If I still want further details, if I'm not satisfied with what they will give me, I can still contact Kevin Pratt. And Archive Drives, St. Louis. And the telephone number is there. Kevin Pratt at NARA.gov. These are public documents. If you are unable to resolve your FOIA dispute through our FOIA public liaison, the Office of Government Information Service, the Federal FOIA Ombudsman Office Mediation Service to help resolve disputes. So they have given enough information if you want to go further and ask more questions. Now, the first one I read, basically, say the United States Army, they are bound by law. I am running to say, so open information any veteran so your information be a bit to the amount, but information be na a deep pano, a chain nipano, so onwuya on one signature, na so we wua, a chebi an area on warrior, and I say, neba, ninya, ne mame, ne sister be, and also sign. And now says I want to say you can go further and probe. Now, this is what they sent us, and then they added Bryan Acheampong's basic army information, and it has gotten what Bryan Acheampong's rank in the United States Air Force. Today, I'm going to show you Bryan Acheampong, what United States Air Force, the rank and what he did. This document I'm showing you does not belong to me. It has not been edited. The only thing that has been covered is the address of Loud Silence Media. Everything here is the original document we received from the National Personnel Records Center in the United States of America. Now, what did Bryan Acheampong do in the military? When he was in the military, what was his role? Was he an active military personnel? Was he a reserve? Now, we need to understand this because Ghana, maybe we'll see a church in Ghana 40 years here. In the United States Army, so nobody can say, oh, you're active military man, and I say, oh, you're reserve. There are two things here. Obi oha or you're army, but or you're reserve. You can say, oh, you're reserve, and I say, oh, you're active military person. Omwa sebio. Omuye full-time army anopa ewia enwumre onye adwuma bi anka ho e army nkoa wo ba ogirenim bibia ba ogirenim onye adwuma foforo nka ho pay na ogine e military salary it said the Ghana for soldier for ogine omunye adwuma bi anka ho me just Ghana for soldier for the omuyere no wo store na de nka ho o ye Ghana military o Ghana military mo you are a full active military personnel adwuma foforo bi anka adwuma wo ye no o ye army ni. Now, over America will be a friend of reserve. Reserve for no army for, and so full-time army, half army, half civilians. Now, they're a trainee. Obuha or a reserve, Obusa also or army but or reserve, or tifie. Se army ni here or moi, ebia yesi demonstration yesi, or Michigan. Yempesi the active personnel no baba to a kute omuni adi adeno. Ni afre reserve for omo we fie omo ye adwuma omo kɔ adwuma ba omo kɔ adwuma omo ye other jobs wo fie na sebio se amini hia reserve na be bibia fly the sea of Florida inso ni bufa so e konkofo fie ye penkofo abesesa ye ahwea abe block oh sa nyoma bi sa no ye ma active personnel no nye because there's reserve for her. So they are basically civilians who are military men into omo adwuma na nya full-time military. They call them to come in. Now, so you're reserve at a particular time, you need to go in and do what we call refresher course. In the army, you need to go sharpen your skills, kakra. If you say any day you can be called to come and say, it's a question. You see, I'm more reserve here. I'm more mechanical yanko. In today, piano, a 2 now buy and I file first by 2 weeks now. I will say, be 5 months and not 3 weeks and not 2 months. Be now, be papa. Okay, we need say, oh, to still. No, I could fear. You're a full-time military person. If you are not an active military man, you are a reserve. So that's the distinction. Me active military man omujina Iraq no. Na omubotu no. Na 24/7. They call themselves say no. Anytime 24/7. If the president says we are going to war, they are ready. Reserve ready. Otisemi Kevin Taylor ya and also say soldier. Ada soldier for him one near from into the kind of training an active military for the corps. They don't go through those rigorous training. They don't. Once in a while, they call you come, and then you come and do shaggy reasons and you go home. Technically, reserve I say soldier watchman. technical, with all due respect to the reserves in America. And I'm to my church if you for Atiasie. Now, let's go into it and see what this guy called Bryan Acheampong. This guy, what he did in the United States Army. You are still watching, with all due respect, extended version.
Illegal mining. Who has the power to stop it? Over 500 mason excavators.
I am prepared to put my presidency on the line on this matter.
But is the president behind the illegal mining? Is the whole Jubilee House involved? And was the president told about his appointees being involved in illegal mining? And did he take action? The documents will tell us. The Jubilee House Galamsey gangs coming up on 6 April 2023 on With All Due Respect Loud Silence TV.
We are going to turn the whole country upside down. One by one.
Well, how will you do it?
Well, we will die and they will bury us.
You are still live on Loud Silence TV. My name is Kevin Taylor. We are live from our studios here in Washington, D.C. We are streaming live on Loud Silence TV on Multi TV. We are also streaming live on Facebook. Search for Loud Silence TV or With Audio Respect page. Our affiliates are cross-posting this show live across the world or across the globe. Benjamin Wayo Mahama's page, they are live tonight. They are cross-posting this show live. Go on Facebook, follow Benjamin Wayo Mahama. Every time this show is live, you will get a notification from his platform to be part of the conversation. NDC TV are also another affiliate. They are also streaming this show live, cross-posting it on Meta or Facebook across the world. Follow NDC TV. Check the followers before you follow the page. Honorable Joseph Yamin is also another platform that we are cross-posting the show on. Kevin Taylor, my official page on Facebook. Make sure you check this page very well. The followers, the website before you follow the page. Ghana News Thread, our affiliates. Now, let's try and get into what we call Bryan Acheampong's hidden secret. He says he was with the U.S. Air Force. He says he was with the Air Force, not the Army. He says he was with the Air Force. All right, now let's do this. Okay, so this is Bryan Acheampong, and this is what he did in the U.S. military. Now, the document on the screen is from the United States military, and this is what they gave us when we asked about Bryan Acheampong, his rank, his role in the U.S. military. Information releasable under the Freedom of Information Act. Now, when you go to the top, you see this. Branch of service. No, the top. Name, Acheampong Bryan. Branch of service and serial or service number. Air Force and Angus. Dates of service. Mon notice dates ni yepa. Air Force National Guard. Air Force National Guard. May 31st, 2005 to March 1st, 2009. So Bryan Acheampong was with the Air Force National Guard, not Air Force, so National Guard. That means reserve. Bryan Acheampong was with the Air Force National Guard and yet active from 2005 to 2009. Active duty dates. Data na oya active ewo Air Force Guard mu. Se okọ Air Force nim every a year 2005 to 2009. Sa 2005 2009 4 years no. There was a period that now oya active ewo National Guard, that's the reserve no. And active duty dates July a year 2006 to September 2006. He was active for a year 3 months. There's a typo here. I think they tried to say July 5th. So Bryan Acheampong was active for 3 months in the National Guard. If anybody wants to challenge this document, they have all the rights to go into the archives and demand and come out and tell us that whatever we are showing here is what is a lie. What is here is what I'm showing you. Nothing has been touched. And I don't have the right to touch anything. So on the record, I'm showing you what we got. Now, when you go into duty status, discharge, that means he has been discharged. Now, when you go to rank and grade, rank or grade, he was an E3. Bryan Acheampong rank, U.S. Air Force National Guard, his rank was E3. Wouldn't know what E3 is, you will come there. Salary, not applicable. Now, when you go to source of commission, not applicable. They not tell us. Assignment and geographical location. And here, you didn't tell you. Bryan Acheampong no National Guard, Rhode Island. Bryan Acheampong never left the shores of America to go fight war anywhere. He was active for 3 months as a National Guard. 5 years of Sedena Odino Aminimuno. 5 years now Odino Aminimuno. He was active for 3 months and he never left the shores of America. This is what we are seeing here. A geographical area on a Rhode Island. Military education. Fuel apprentice school. Bryan Acheampong. Military education onyaye na oye fuel apprentice school. Yaka be a fuel apprentice say Air Force for nanka so mo Air Force for the plane ba. Uko barracks wa there was some small place be nkofo bi to them. Omo adwuma say Yabeka chom say here petrol gallon 300 normally ready. Now they don't go close to the jet. They don't go close to the plane. What they do is I just say gao for now more US Air Force no. Plane gao for no. Mo prepare a petrol no more to war train. Na aye amwankasa US Air Force for no ababeji no mo de akwa feel fuel no. Into on the training na onyan wo United States Army mo no na oye fuel apprentice school training onyaye. Bryan Acheampong did not step out of the US to go shoot a gun anywhere. Bryan Acheampong's rank in the US Army was E3. E3. Now, I'll tell you what E3 is. So basically, or a fuel attendant, US Air Force Guard, National Guard. Omubu petrol. Inti petrol nukra enye ono ne bugu plane mo. Those who are there, they know what I'm talking about. He does not have access to the jets. What he does is Oko airport on say a Philip plane na in Kofobiba normal the plane can be petrol can be so na Kofobia be adwuma no mo yano botuko and adwuma no bi no. Now you go to military education. Fuel apprentice school and yes say or yes some. Then you go to decorations and awards. Now here Air Force Training Ribbon, National Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal. So basically, Bryan Acheampong never had anything. They're not all kind of vetting, not just these certifications. But he himself, actively, he was at Rhode Island for 3 months as a United States National Guard, who is with the Air Force. Now you go down to transcripts of court-martial trial, not on file. Place of entry, province, Rhode Island. Rhode Island and an address or the joining Amino as a National Guard, as reserve. Rhode Island. When you go to place of separation, baby, I discharge, you suddenly go see, baby, almost far no, a Rhode Island. Wow. Bryan Acheampong never went to war. Bryan Acheampong was only active in the United States Army 3 months, 90 days. Bryan Acheampong was at Rhode Island. Every certification he got was that 3 months training he got at the Army. Now, let's talk about Bryan Acheampong, ne rank, which is E3. Now, Obibeka said, what is E3? Now, let's go back and look at what is E3. Now, you ask the question. And this definition I'm giving you is coming from the U.S. Army, their website. Go there and check. Is E3 a high rank? Private first class, PFC, are the basic workforce strength and rank of the U.S. Army. You see, E3, no, it is the basic workforce strength and rank of the U.S. Army. In the U.S. Army, the rank is the lowest, the weakest, is E3. PFC is the point in which junior enlisted soldiers begin the transition from apprentice to journeyman by developing technical and leadership skills. So it is basic. That E3 rank na Bryan Acheampong here with US Army Air Force mono. It is the basic. He doesn't have any extraordinary thing. Anybody in to say what called scouts, basically like scouts. That is what E3 means. And when you see Bryan Acheampong's archival documents that give U.S. Army, his rank in the military, leaving the military, was E3, the weakest. Or your petrol apprentice. Or your gawo, army mu gawo, obu petrol. Petrol require on bank jet, no, because we know or your National Guard or your active duty 3 months and no a training. One call out of America to fight at Iraq, Afghanistan. No, it would have shown here. E3 is the ass of the army. Army netono, baby a etuon wono, baby a wotnasono, and then your friend E3. Now, let's keep going. E3, assess actually saying, E3, Army Private First Class Marine Corps, or your Lance Corporal. Because we are E3 in the Army, you are a Lance Corporal. Bryan Acheampong, no a Lance Corporal. You gave Ghana's military to Ghana's security to Bryan Acheampong, and the original stage, he catch the Ghana for say, he will not hand over power. And that is what I keep telling, or I kept telling people. When you give power to fools who don't have knowledge about it, you get Techiman South and you get Ayawaso West Wagon. Bryan Acheampong was just a corporal. E3. He has only 3 months experience, 3 months active duty. It could be says 3 months, no. They didn't even go for training. You catch them and say bank bu hajina no every evening. Yes. It could be say no more demonstration be baby say monko area honko tina hokeke because near with the presence of the National Guard and I say reserve no. It does not mean say active duty no. He went any war. No, it could have been anything. It could have been say Rhode Island Hokrampono. That is where he did all his service. His 3 months was in Rhode Island. Because if Bryan Acheampong had been moved to any other location, geographically, they would have stated it. But they are saying everything is Rhode Island in, Rhode Island out. So his entry and exit was all Rhode Island. Meaning, Bryan Acheampong, who is an E3, who is a corporal, at the end of the day has no knowledge. So this is your Bryan Acheampong today in Ghana. Walking and going and insulting. So you see how Akufo-Addo has lowered. Akufo-Addo hasn't lowered Ghana's politics. Akufo-Addo himself is a disease. He's a liar. If you're not an imposter, if you're not a liar, Akufo-Addo will never give you. It's Bryan Acheampong na adiana na oye na Ayawaso West Wagon. Only intelligence background biao. A certification. Bryan Acheampong is thinking said 2 million na police for na wafa for more. Police money ambi muno odema koshebno. They are the ones he's using. So when he sits in front of Parliament to say he does not want to discuss his rank because he knows he's at the ass of the army. He's not an active member. He is just a reserve or a National Guard. And we have allowed this guy and we have given him every sensitive information in Ghana to head national security. Somebody is telling me you are not paid more than $2,000 a month as a National Guard. E3. You don't get more than $2,200 a month. And we are talking about 2005. That means Bryan Acheampong was paid less than $400. And these people are today standing on stages and telling us that our democracy, they can destroy it. Bryan Acheampong will go down before Ghana goes down. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a joke. This corpora, this E3 scammer needs to come out and say everything I've shown here is a lie. He needs to bring something to prove that the documents I received from the United States Army Archives is a lie and that it's not him, and that he had a better rank than what I'm saying. I am going by what the government has given me. After this show, we will publish all the documents. We don't intend to touch it or anything. People can also go and verify. Take his name, take his date of birth, and you get what you want. My name is Kevin Ekobedu Taylor. After this short break, I'll pick phone calls. It's still live on Loud Silence TV. Come out.
Illegal mining. Who has the power to stop it? Over 500 mason excavators